Yes, peace, peace, family. Welcome. Y'all see what it is.
Peace, family.
Peace,
Another
peace,
class
peace.
is all
Peace,
done.
peace, peace.
It's good. We live?
Yes, yes, we live and in color.
All right, all right. Let's go. Welcome,
Man,
welcome,
welcome back,
everybody.
everybody.
hmm
Yes, yes, welcome, welcome. We
So
appreciate it.
today's
Shout out
topic.
to all
Go ahead, J Hill.
I was just gonna say shout out to all the fathers out there holding it
Yes,
down
sir.
for their babies.
Yes, sir. I shaded that. I shade.
Ashe, Ashe.
Keep vibing out. Keep showing up. Keep showing up.
Yeah, shout out to all them fathers who've been holding it down. You know what I'm saying? Putting in the work, teaching they seed. Holding it down with their queen. Shout out to all them brothers out there that's doing it.
Yes, sir.
Facts, facts. Ashe. And we know the road gets hard
All right, so
sometimes,
we
but
got
keep
a
on going.
Facts.
got an interesting conversation today, family. You want to start it off with the video, bro?
Yeah, we can start it off with the video and explain some quick little context. So, this gentleman, some of y'all may have seen this video already, some of y'all may have not. This gentleman broke down, what we went through as children coming up into adulthood and how the system of our society weaned us off of our higher self, off of our spirituality. So we disconnected and detached from source due to some of these implications. They know they can't get everybody, but they get most people with these techniques. Some people are just so clairvoyant and so, spiritual that, you can't break them. We call them psychics, mediums, whatever have you. But for most of us, this is what we dealt with. So without further ado, we're going to play this real quick.
What color was kindergarten? It was every color.
Yeah, I was gonna say rainbow.
Okay, now when you went to first to second grade, what color was it? It was bland. It was that color. Then when you went to high school, what color was it?
Like jail.
Okay, then when you went to work, what color was the wall?
Yeah.
Now it's called waning you off the frequency. When you a kid, you vibrant, you running around. They say wane them off the frequency. Make everything tan, make it boring. They just get you right out your spirituality. The next time that you do get introduced to a colorful environment, guess where you at? You in a club. If the club was this color, nobody would go. But since it's black and it's universal light from red to purple, it feel like you in a universe. So this is why people like the club. It's called colorology. Even hunger. Hunger is triggered by the color red, yellow, and orange. What color is Wendy's? Chick-fil-A, McDonald's. Every highly successful fast food franchise, I guarantee you, if they not all red, orange, and yellow, they have either one of them colors at a high value. This is people who literally socially engineer the world. What color was kindergarten? It was every color.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've definitely seen that before too. It really make a lot of sense, man, because I be trying to figure out why people love the club so much. You know what I'm saying? And that may have a big part to do with it. Just the colors, you know what I'm saying? Because I love those same colors too. And that's probably what make people feel so comfortable when they there. So
Absolutely.
constantly, and they don't even know it.
It's a frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Colors are frequencies. Like, for instance, when we look at the sky, we see the color blue because blue is the fastest moving color in the spectrum. But the sky is not really blue. It just appears blue because, like I said, blue is the fastest moving color in the spectrum. So colors, depending on how they vibrate or move, is what you see. So that's why in most prisons or jails, you see the color gray. Because they want you depressed. They want you slumber, like feel like you being punished for something.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They want you in that low vibration. So they put you in a low vibrational color.
Facts.
That's facts. And I like how you pointed out how we so much more vibrant as children. You know, we definitely more full of life as kids, man. The older you get, the more it just seems like life just gets sucked out of you. You know what I'm saying? And the irony of us talking about this today, I just watched a video yesterday with Bobby Hemmett talking about how basically we grow up too fast. You know, a lot of times when we in our 20s, we already, some of us is working on trying to get a house and got kids and stuff already, when really, according to him back in the day, we wasn't considered adults until we was in our 30s. You know, so it's just another way of them making us older faster. Because I talk to people that's my age that be like, oh man, I'm be 36, I'm getting old. Like, what? That's old to you, 36. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just hate to hear people say that because I just feel like you making yourself get older. You making your own body break down by thinking, oh, I'm knocking on 40, I'm getting old. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, you really just starting your life, in my opinion. And Bobby Hemmett kind of confirmed that. You know?
Facts.
So that makes a lot of sense to me that we're not really even supposed to be considered adults until we 30. Because think about how immature people still are in their 20s.
Yeah.
40s.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. I got 4 kids in their 20s. So I know how immature they are, bro. And I see it. So, and shoot, I left home, I was 14, bro. So shoot, imagine. I was 14 when I first had to handle everything on my own. So I had like I said, the AP class.
Right. Yeah, I work with a guy like that too, man. I think y'all generation was, I don't know what made it so different, but he had the same situation. I think he was about 14 and had his own apartment and everything by the time 14. Like, I'm trying to figure out how was y'all even able to lease an apartment at that age. You know what I'm saying?
Man, at them times, and like I said, we grew up ahead of our time, man. We knew things that other people didn't know because we was growing up fast.
Right,
So,
right.
you know, yeah, man, we just knew how to do stuff. And back then, if you had the money, them people don't care if you got the money. Back then, you got the money, you can rent the place.
For real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we got the money. Like, you know, we made it happen, man. I had an apartment on the 3rd floor with a sunroof. Apartment had a sunroof. I was 14. Me and another dude named was Cedric Payne. Cedric Payne passed now, bless his soul. You know what I'm saying? He made a transition, but yeah, me and Cedric Payne, I was 14, Cedric was 15. At our own place. Cedric was kicked out, I was kicked out. Our parents thought, you know, we should have been going to school and doing all those things. And we was skipping school and wasn't doing all that. So they didn't think we was about nothing. So they put us out.
Right.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's how, you know. Yep.
Yeah, everything happened, man. So y'all shared an apartment, or he had his own? You had your own.
But you know, the way we had to survive, I ain't proud of it because you know we was stealing to eat and stuff like that. But you know, it's what we had to do.
Right.
You know, Shoot, we had a
But was
system
y'all
down.
was y'all roommates or y'all had y'all own spot?
Yeah, we was roommates. We had a
Okay.
1 bedroom apartment. Yeah, we was roommates, but we had a kitchen, a bedroom, living room. You know what I'm saying? He slept in the living room. I slept in the bedroom.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Y'all definitely did what y'all had to do.
Hell yeah, but we used to play a lot of basketball, man. They had rec centers we used to go to, and we used to do a lot of dumb shit, man.
Right.
But we survived it, and I ain't mad. I ain't mad about it at all. That's I must have chose that before I come here. I must have chose that route because that's what it was.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of times I don't think a lot of people realize when they go through these situations, we done chose this as a contract. We done chose we was gonna deal with these parents and everything before we came here.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So, and like I said, it made me stronger because once I went through that at 14, I knew I could handle anything. I could, shit. What else life can throw at me? I can't handle nothing.
Right.
I've been dealing with this since I was 14, bro. But bring it on.
Wisdom, Jen, peace.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
so what would you say you took away from that, bro? Like looking back at that whole experience, what did you think that you learned from that to shape you into who you are today?
Shit, endurance.
Endurance. Okay.
Yeah, tenacity. Yeah, man, how to get over, through, and around anything, no matter what you're dealing with. That's what I learned at an early age.
And that's the perfect example of what I mean when I say sometimes you go through something,
Mm-hmm.
you just never know what doors is gonna open unless you go through that.
Exactly. Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. And for a long time, I thought that something was wrong with that, but then I realized no, because I started reading a lot of fairy tales and start getting the spiritual significance in fairy tales. And a lot of times, if you read them fairy tales, them little kids like Hansel and Gretel and Cinderella, Snow White, and all them, they all had rough beginnings. And when you find them in the woods in them fairy tales, the woods is to symbolize the world. So a lot of them got left in the woods. And Hansel and Gretel, they left breadcrumbs in the wood. Their parents left them in the woods. They left breadcrumbs. So a lot of them are spiritual stories telling you a lot of our stories that we grew up in were spiritual. We just didn't realize it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about
That was spiritual. Me getting kicked out at 14. Look at 14. Osiris got cut up into 14 pieces.
and
Right? I got kicked out at 14. So I started applying my life to these mythologies and these folklores and these ancient legends. Realize I'm living out the same kind of path. I'm reading about these heroes, but am I the hero? And I realized I was on the hero's path. All of us was on the hero's path. We just didn't realize it.
Facts.
Or the shero, as I should say. I don't want to just say hero because we got some sheroes out there too.
The thing about Hansel and Gretel too is like, especially when we look at like the I don't want to say dark, but the what society would consider like the dark side of these stories, because the children's books sugarcoated a lot of it, but when you start looking into the actual fable, it was like, damn, this was some dark stuff. But you notice that a lot of times, like things like that happen, especially like you were saying, Sirius. These stories are so significant because, and I'm using Hansel and Gretel as an example. They were left by their parents in the woods, and it served a purpose to teach them something that the parents couldn't teach them, right? Because there's some stuff like right now in life we're just not going to learn in a classroom. We're going to learn by experience. We're going to learn by doing the thing.
Yep.
And so I think it's really powerful that we teach our children those aspects. Like, my son, I've been having him watch things from our era and not from his era, because his era is unfortunately it's just filled with too much garbage. It's not enough of that essence, you know. And the perfect example I like to use for this is the 2 Willy Wonkas that were created. You look at the old one, and that song was so powerful. You know, he said, "Anything you want, you can have it." You know what I'm saying? If you want to see paradise, just look around and see it, right? And things of that nature was in the song. That song was completely stricken from the new movie, the one with Johnny Depp. Completely stricken from it, and there's no esoteric knowledge being given, you know. And I thought that was a shame, and I never let him watch that one. You know, he won't watch that one. I viewed it to make sure. I said, let me watch this because I got to make sure. I know it's Willy Wonka, but I ain't just gonna trust the title because I know how these people get goofy. And they took away a lot of the stuff from our era, you know, like Never Ending Story. Like you mentioned that link, I think last week, Sirius, or the week before. That was so powerful, and now he's just running around singing that song all day, every day now. He's singing the Never Ending Story song, which has got value because it's telling him to believe in himself, that he is the hero, that he can accomplish all these things. And I don't want that taken away from him.
Right.
You know? And so when like that video was explaining, like we're being detached from our higher self, from our spirituality, from the source, you know what I mean, from our actual God-like frequency. We're being detached from societal viewpoints and societal systems. However, some of the most detrimental torment and us being detached from that is our parents. Our immediate surroundings, they do the biggest number on us because the number was done on them and it was trickled down, you know? And how many people in the chat, please let me know, how many people have heard this saying, you know, oh, well, my father used the belt on me, that's all I know. I'm going to use the belt or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And Sirius, you can speak on this more than anybody probably because, you know, I can say I did have a couple talks with, you know, with my mom and stuff like that. Like, I got a lot of discipline because she didn't know any better, and that's how her mother and father raised her, you know, how she was raised. So I'm going to raise you how I was raised. I get that. But there was still some sort of talking to, and you know, I'll let you take over, Sirius, but you know, when you explained to me how, you know, you weren't even spoken to, not you, no questions, it was just go get the belt. Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, man, that's what it was, man. And like I said, man, that's a sticky subject because, like, even though I had a father and I didn't have a father, you know, I didn't get locked up. Some of the brothers I grew up with didn't have fathers, bro, at all. And so I'm really complaining about my father, but I really can't complain too much because he was there enough to where I didn't get locked up. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of them dudes I was growing up with, man, that didn't have fathers, bro. They was all getting locked up. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of sticky. Like psychologically, there was a lot of trauma, but physically, he was there, and it kept me from going to a place where a lot of other dudes was going.
Right.
So it's kind of like a catch-22. Like he you know, like he wasn't all the way a bad dude. He you know, he played some good parts. You know what I'm trying to say?
Oh yeah, because look at the amazing God-like father that you became.
Yeah,
because of what he did. That turned you into,
because you know, like I said, he did a lot of good things. He taught me how to play chess. You know what I'm saying? I love dogs. The reason I got my love of dogs from him because he always told me, "Boy, go feed the dog," because I always had to go take care of the dog. So it's just things I got from him that really helped me in the long run. So everything I got from him wasn't all bad. Yeah, I do want to put that out there, but a lot of things were traumatizing that I got from him too, as well. So it's, you know, I don't know. One of them things, man. You know, some, you know, how can I come really plain when you got some brothers out here that didn't even have a father?
Right.
Right.
So, it is what it is. I'm just thankful for the experience. Right now, I'm grateful for the experience. I ain't mad no more. I used to be angry about it. I ain't there no more. I'm thankful I'm not there.
Right.
I can sit here and say from my heart space that I'm truly thankful for the experience, and that's all that matters.
Facts.
You know.
And the anger that you had at one point in time was probably needed, at that point in your life just for survival,
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially to show our parents, like, because all the time I mean, I know I heard this, you ain't gonna be shit. You just gonna be, like your dad. You ain't gonna try to do nothing, or it's like, damn, how do you know what I'm saying? You already mapping out my life. I wasn't saying this when I was younger, but when I grew up, I was like, damn, you was already mapping out my life before I even, you know what I mean? I wasn't given a chance, but I grew in patience, and like you said, you know what I'm saying, lost the anger for it, and I grew in grace and told myself, this woman didn't know any better. She did the best she could with what she had and the knowledge that she was given. So, and based on that, I still say she did a hell of a job, amongst her addiction, because had she not had those talks with me, the ass whoopings would have never made sense. You see what I'm saying? But they made sense. So, like, it was like, I got it. I understood, so accountability was a real thing. And as soon as I had an opportunity to avoid accountability, I did. And then I run into some people who's like, no. no. You gonna eat this. You gonna hold this because this is yours. But I was detached from, man, I had so many dreams and ambitions, and man, I wanted to do so many things. Just as a young kid, I would take my action figures and I would pretend that I'm living this life and doing these things, And it showed me that magic was very real as I was growing up. I keep expressing that because I don't think people are really gravitating. They don't understand how real magic is, how the magic sits inside of them, and if any magic show, or even if it's just sci-fi, if you watch it, it's always within the person. They got magic within them. It's only a wand or some other device or something that activates it, possibly, but you got it in you, and that's what they're attempting to tell us. Amongst all the lies, we feed into the garbage because a lot of us don't have those shades on. You got to put on those 3D shades.
Let me just add my 2 cents to the thing you just showed in terms of education. Number one, our children should not be inside preschools at all. Who's supposed to be the teaching ground, the cultivation for our children? But because they have put in a system in place whereas mothers and fathers have to end up being out of the house to pay bills and to take care of the family, to feed the family, that's why they created the kindergarten. So that you have to entrust your children into the hands of somebody to teach them, to give them their moral compass and their moral compass, when that should have been done at home. It should be reinforced at home. And so when you go from kindergarten and you go into primary school, all of these things, the foundation of our education should be home first. Back like what you're doing now with your son. Your foundation. So once you lay a strong foundation, if you decide to put him in any school system, the foundation you have, he will come to you first before he takes what a teacher says. He will challenge the teacher because he can tell you my daddy said, because that's the foundation. But because the system was put in place for her to grab the baby from off the breast 3 months, and mommy have to now go back to work and all these different things. So you see those things happening. When you look at preschool, so now anybody who touches their child between birth and 7 years old is the foundation of their learning process. So anything after 7 years is you just adding on to what the foundation is. So how a child is treated from birth to 7 lays with them or learns with them for the rest of their life. So that behavioral pattern, you can start seeing that behavioral pattern in a 1 year old, a 2 year old, a 3 year old. You start seeing that behavioral pattern and you don't start curbing them and training them and cultivating them in the direction you want them to go. When they get 7, they have already cemented that behavior pattern and that belief system. So when we look back at our own lives, we could recollect when you were 2 or maybe 3. Some there are flashes of your life that you could go back and you could remember. And you could see, oh wow, when I was 2, I remember going on the school bus or something like that. These are things I can remember myself personally. I can remember my mommy put me on a preschool bus to go to preschool and stuff like that. You understand? I remember them dropping me off to primary school and I cried to go back behind them and stuff like that. I can remember leaving primary school and going into junior high. So there are things that we as parents supposed to lay foundation in our children before we hand them over to anybody else to touch their lives and to speak into them. So yes, the system was never meant or never created to educate us. The system, educational system was created to detach us from our parents. That's what it was created for, to create factory workers.
Facts. You know, I just thought of a question with everything that's just been said. Why do y'all think that these entities want us to die so young, so early? You know, they say we was living for a much longer time than what the average health age is now, and people have embraced dying at 80 as that being a old age, and I feel like we can go, much past that. So if they're feeding on our energy, you would think that they would want us youthful and healthy for years. Why do y'all think that they want us to die so early and they want people to feel? As a matter of fact, people even feeling like 60 is somebody passed away at 60. Oh, they lived a good long life. Like what? You know what I'm saying? So what do y'all think the thought process is behind that?
Programming there again. Because if you look at time past, people live for 200, 300, 500 years. Mind you, you still have people today that are not a part of the system, that are passing as a passing 100 years and stuff like that. But it's still a programming process because why you think that they need our energy. The quicker I get you out of here, the quicker I can have somebody else who's brainwashed. Because the older you grow, the more wiser you're supposed to become. The more detached to the system you should become. But if you so anchored into the system and the programming, then you won't become detached and you won't be able to live that old age because you're so caught up in the system. The system tells you, oh, you got to retire at the age of 60. When you retire at 60, you're only supposed to live 3 scores and 10. So when 70 comes, oh, you start thinking, my bones, my this, my that, I'm so old. So you're not being programmed to think of yourself as old at 65. You haven't thought about to see yourself as heading down the hill, over the hill at 65. If people catch there's a scripture in the Bible, I think it's somewhere in Isaiah, where it talks about when you reach 100, you should be as if you was a child all over again, a rejuvenated age. You understand? But they make us believe that when you are 100, oh, you centennial now, you ancient. But it should be as you begin that kind of like life all over again, new zeal, rejuvenated, re-energized. You're now able to pour some wisdom into another generation that's coming up behind you.
That makes sense.
So programming.
You know, that's why I love the term, you know, you're not getting older, you getting better. You know, I love
Exactly.
when somebody will correct me or I correct somebody else with that because it starts a different conversation. You know, and most of the time, damn near every time, person's like, "You right." You know what I'm saying? Getting like a fine wine is what most people respond with, and it's true. That's how we need to start thinking of ourselves. You know what I mean? Because we are ancient. Our souls are so. Some of us are thousands and thousands of years old. Them
Millions,
so many
some
times. It's
millions
not-
even.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like, time is not. You know, they got us stuck in this warp,
With
in
loop
this time
time,
loop.
like I'm throwing a wheel.
Right.
Yeah, shoot, God is like, what's a couple hundred years? Shit. They tell you in the Bible 1,000 years is like a day or some shit like that.
That's right.
Some days it feel like it too.
Yeah. But you know what? I want to ask you guys a question. I want to show this card again, and then I want you guys to tell me what y'all see from this card.
Okay.
All right? Does that work for y'all?
That
Yes,
works.
sir.
Okay, I'm gonna show it again, and then each one of y'all tell me what y'all see, what the card says to y'all. What it says, what do you get from it? Can y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
You see the girls dancing with the tambourine with the little tin in the back. You see the whole scene, right?
Yeah.
It's the Four of Wands. So now that everybody sees it, I just want to hear from each of you guys what y'all get from this. Because the tarot is really just picture frames of melanin, showing you the alchemical process of the soul.
Yeah.
So once knowing that and seeing this picture, tell me what you would get from that. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Honestly, for me, the first thing that comes to mind just looking at it is celebration of life. That's what I see right off the bat.
Nice. Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just say the same thing as also, like, you just celebrate, not just you by yourself, but you with others just celebrating your life, enjoying the moment, in that very moment that you're in, looking forward to wherever it is that they're headed.
Okay.
It's just like they ain't just stuff like that, they celebrate as we go forward.
Ashe.
I say.
I see a lot of light, love, and harmony, and happiness. But that one, the woman with the face showing, man, that smile just captivated me. Like, man, you was happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that picture comes alive. It comes to life with that, with that smile because like you really are enjoying yourself.
Yeah, I say. Yeah, to me, it's like saying, it says a whole lot, man. It says like, bring the noise. You know what I mean? And like, like it's time to kick back and enjoy elation or enjoy fun, enjoy joy. It's like a period of massive shifting is happening, and it's time to enjoy some well-deserved time for self to treat yourself, to enjoy life, to enjoy the people that surround you, your mate, your children, your friends. Enjoy if you got friends that you trust and you love, and they love you back in the same, you reciprocate the same energy towards each other. Like family and friends, that make you feel relaxed and like Spec said, happiness and harmony. Enjoying these warm vibes of celebration and success. And like when the last time you danced. It's also saying when was the last time you danced?
Wow, right.
When the last time you got out, shook a leg, cut up the rug.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We got to do that sometime, man. Life ain't just about the same old, same old.
right.
Yep.
So that's what the card said to me, man. That's what it said.
And you gotta not care how you look. Just move.
Yeah.
Just let your body move. Because I was doing that the other night, man, and I entered a state of meditation without even realizing, man. Because I was just, I had my music playing, whatever, and I was working in my little office or whatever, and I stepped out for a second and came back in, and just the right song was on, and I just started moving, and I got the mirror right here. I was just, watching the mirror, and I just was moving, man, and I was like, man, I feel good, and it relieves a lot of stress.
It does. Yeah. Builds confidence too, because you start doing stuff, you don't care who. Sometimes I leave the house, man. I go to the store, I got some dirty shoes on, and I might have a shirt with a hole in it. I don't care. I ain't trying to impress nobody. You know what I mean? I'm just being authentic. Just being authentic, and I feel good because they're my favorite shoes. I like my shirt with my hole in it. So, oh well, judge me if you want to. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm just being authentic.
Facts.
Yeah.
And something my son says, man, and I wish he was awake right now so he could say it on live for us, man. He says, like, I ask him, I say, how did you get to be the coolest little kid? Or how did you become so awesome? Or how did you become so great? And you ask him that, he's going to say, by being myself. And, like, that just, man, that tickles me.
I love that.
I love that. Like, man, you got to be your authentic self, because that way nobody will ever be able to detach you from your spirituality. As long as you being yourself.
Yeah, that come back to what I said. You're laying a very good foundation. So as he grows, nobody can come and take it.
Yeah. Facts.
Yeah. And there, a lot of people appreciate that, because when they see Ox, they gonna get the same person every day. They ain't gonna get no face this way and no, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They gonna get the same authenticity every day.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be more valuable than anything else that he can gain in this world.
That's right. I just wanted to bring him up without the thoughts of the monetary system. This is why I put hedge funds and what they call them things, the it begins with a T, the government trust,
trust fund,
like trust funds and stuff like that. I forget what it's called. Treasury. That's the word I was looking for. Treasury bonds and stocks and all that stuff. Like, that's why I'm putting that together, because by the time he's 21, when he can touch it and access it, it's gonna be in the millions. That way he's never gotta damn, what am I gonna do about money? What am I gonna do? No, go. If you want to go be an artist, if you want to go draw paint on the sidewalk, if you want to go and pursue aspirations of being an astronaut, whatever you want to go do, you'll have some sort of resources that I'm gonna make sure you got. And I started early, because a lot of us do. I know a lot of us didn't have that. Our parents didn't know enough. Our parents didn't know enough to say, let me set this up so at least they'll have something. Because I don't got no bank account I can just hand them over that's full of money or this, that, and the third. Right as of now, I know I'll get there, because he told me I'm gonna get there. My son said it. Daddy, the bank. What? I'm not the bank. He said, don't say that. Don't you dare say that. Okay.
And I want to say this too real quick. We've been programmed from little kids that the Friday the 13th was bad or bad luck.
Yes.
I bought a lottery ticket Friday. I purposely bought a lottery ticket Friday the 13th and won $100.
Wow.
So did. I told you I did. My wife was like, "Dang, how you do that?" I told you. I said, 13 is lucky, baby. Don't let nobody tell you
For
that
real.
Friday the 13th is unlucky or that it's unlucky for somebody, but it ain't unlucky for us.
Yeah.
So you know.
Man, I'm so glad you brought that up, brother. Because I said Friday the 13th was a bad day for me. Man, when I tell you it was one thing after another, that whole start of that day. I mean, it turned around and got better toward the second half, but the first half of that day, I'm like, oh shit, Friday, that's a real thing, huh?
You know what?
Because the whole rest of my week was good.
But you know what? I think it might be in your subconscious mind, bro.
I was gonna say that. Yep. It's in your
Because I'm
subconscious.
telling you, a lot of your subconscious mind, if you got stuff still down in there, bro, that you ain't quite got out yet, it'll keep showing up.
And it may
Like,
not be
you
so.
know-
It may not be that either serious. It may be this too. It's just the residue from what we knew about Friday the 13th.
13th, right? That
You
could
know
be
that
Right,
residue
right.
still resonates.
right. You got to
in
turn it around some way, bro, in your
Right.
own mind, for your subconscious mind to get it, and it'll turn it around for you. Because, like I said, I won $100 from a scratch off, and I ain't spent but what $10.
Mhm.
So I was like, shoot, that's a win-win. I was grateful. I'll give thanks. I was gratitude like a mug on Friday. I like, this is my lucky day. And every 13th,
Right.
I go buy lottery tickets. I only do that on the 13th. So you got to retrain your mind as possible. You just got to retrain yourself.
Right.
Yes. Shout out to Railroad 2 Solo.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Shout out to everybody out there that's been
Yes.
listening
Yes.
to the High Vibe Tribe.
That part.
I like this one. I like this one. Roro. You know, said made of money.
That's right. I
made
love
out of
that.
money.
Mhm.
You know, and our kids know best, man. They know best.
Yeah, they know that. Listen to them when they say stuff like that.
That's for real.
Yeah, they know what time it is.
They're still tapped in the source. They're not.
Yeah, they still tapped
They haven't
in.
been detached from, you know what I mean, from source yet. They still got a deep connection with it. Like when my son just be saying random stuff, and it's not random, but to me it's random because I'm not on the level he's on. You know what I mean? But he's saying stuff. The moon's fake. Really? Where'd you get that from? And then I just saw. I don't know if y'all saw this. I should have had it set up. But I saw a clip where Billy Carson was just talking about how they done found evidence that the moon wasn't really like it wasn't naturally placed there.
Right.
I'm like, wow, how my son know that? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm gonna tell you a book you can get with some evidence on that. It's called by Rudolf Steiner, Universe, Earth, and Man. It tells you how the moon used to be a part of the Earth, and it was broke off from the Earth. So check that book out if you get a chance. It'll
I
give
think
you
I
a little
heard
bit of
something
science
like
on
that.
that.
Facts.
Yeah, I think I
Rudolf
heard.
Steiner, Universe, Earth, and Man. Yeah.
Okay.
Great book to have, by the way. You know what I'm saying?
My question to you all then is concerning the moon. Do you believe that there's more than one moon?
Is there more than one moon?
Yeah.
In this atmosphere, or
I believe so. I believe we're being blinded from a lot of things because I know we got two suns. And if you're in a certain part of the earth, you will see two suns. It's not a reflection like they be lying saying, oh, that's just the lighting and the way the sun is reflecting off the atmosphere. And they come up with this. I mean, it sounds real good. But your eyes are, and your eyes can deceive you. Your eyes can lie. But if you really search deep and you go inward, something just tells me there's more than one sun. I believe there might be two. There possibly could be three.
Why? Because why I asked that, right?
oh, that's another. Sorry, Queen. Go ahead, Queen.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I was just gonna say about something Roro put in the chat, but go ahead, Queen.
Yeah, I want to respond to that also.
Yeah. Why I asked that question, think about it. I'm in the Southern Kingdom. Y'all are in the Northern Kingdom. It's two totally different hemispheres. We are in two totally different time zones. And sometimes the moon will be shining here and y'all will be having the moon there. So how is that possible? Or sometimes, some days, I'll have the sun and the moon out. So how is that
Right.
possible for me to have
Yep.
the sun and moon here and y'all supposed to be having the sun or the moon there?
Damn, that's a good question. When you put it that way.
Yeah.
I've
But
done
yeah, I
this time and
wonder.
time again, in terms of time stamping it and come up with the same result. Okay, it's impossible to only have one sun or one moon servicing the two atmospheres, two hemispheres.
hmm You know, another thing I be trying to figure out is why does the sun change color? Because I noticed some days when it's coming up, it's ruby red, it's super red, and then a couple of hours later, it's yellow, and then it's white. Like I don't understand. You know,
Yeah,
but
I want to address the sun part, and then I want to address the comment Roro made about her daughter Dream.
okay.
The sun that we have in this atmosphere is not really a sun; it's a hologram. Get the book, The Holographic Universe by Michael Talbot. It speaks about that.
Okay.
The sun behind the sun is actually Sirius. That's why when you hear Sirius, that's the sun behind the sun. That sun is projecting the sun that we have here. So it's like it's kind of like a relationship a father would have to a son. You see what I'm saying? So there's a sun behind the sun. That sun is just projecting the sun. That sun is not really out there. It's a hologram. But there's a sun behind it, which is Sirius. Right? Coming from the Sirius star system. That's the true sun. That's where the heat comes from. So that's why Brother Rich had that this mountain thing on the Stone Mountain on the 28th, because Sirius rises on the close to that. We close to the summer solstice when Sirius rises.
Okay.
That's why he's having that on the 28th. Yes, it's close to the summer solstice, so we can actually affect some stuff being on that Crystal Mountain. We can actually change some shit being up there. So that was strategically planned. That's why I have to be there. Brother Rich knew what he was doing. That's why I got to give a shout out to Brother Rich for planning that, because that was a perfect date. June 28th. That's right before the summer solstice.
Definitely shout out to Brother Rich, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Brother Rich for putting that together. So Brother Rich ain't just putting stuff together. Brother Rich is connected to something, because that's a planetary alignment. And then we about to be on that big ass crystal. All those people. Come on, bro. We about to change some shit that day. And then I want to talk about what the sister said about her daughter having a dream. And 3 years ago, and she wrote it down on her vision board. A few months later, they moved into the area she wanted. See, these kids, man, these kids be tapped in. Like, and I said this before on the channel, the movie Eddie Murphy did with his daughter. I can't remember. Anybody remember the name of that movie?
Imagine that.
Imagine that. Watch that movie. Anybody that's listening to this, go back and check that movie out, because his little daughter was tapped in. And in the end of that movie, they showed that it wasn't no imaginary friends; they were real. So yeah, I just want to say that. I just want to say that.
Yeah, I wanted to add to that comment as well. Your daughter definitely seems tapped in already, and if you tuning in to us, that means you're on a certain frequency already as well. So I just want to encourage you to keep pushing her on this path of enlightenment. She's gonna be super powerful.
Yeah.
In the future for sure.
I'll say.
Because the younger they are, the more closer to source they are right now anyway. So what I'm trying to say, I hope what I'm saying, I think y'all get what I'm saying, but what I'm just trying to really say is keep her to keep that youthful energy and keep her to keep that connection to source as much as possible. And that's perfect. Honestly, that's perfect for what the topic is, what we're talking about today. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole topic today is how do we lose our connection to source? And you pop in with this, like that's perfect. So
That's perfect.
keep her connected.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for real. I
And
say.
and you
I
know
say,
what
well said, my
Sirius was
brother.
saying about Imagine That, like, you know, I think it was so powerful. The most powerful part of that movie was how angry Eddie got when they took her blanket. It was hers, but he was borrowing it and killing it. How angry he got when they was like, he was like, "Give me my blanket." The same thing she
Mm-hmm.
was doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Yeah.
once we start to see, like, oh my God, this is real. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and you know that one thing my mother taught me when I was younger. She said, you know, I never understood why. And she was tapped in on this comment. She said, I never understand why we watch these movies and you know, and she prejudiced, so of course she just used it as white people. But well, white people don't never listen to their kids, you know. And I mean, it's ironically she didn't either. But for that moment, she was teaching me something, and it stuck with me. I never forgot it. You know, we don't listen to our children. Like, and we were watching Chucky at the time. We were watching Child's Play when she said that. She's like, man, I don't know why they want people don't listen to their kids. And she said that because she was engulfed in the film. But as soon as the film's out, it's like, oh man, get your head out of the clouds and this, that, and third, and you know, you a dreamer and this. What's wrong with being a dreamer? And now I know that these things, these entities, these spirits, these other worlds are real. You know what I mean? Magic's real. So like I'm looking at my son and I'm like, bro, you got this and you got all this figured out. And he's talking about, and I told you, Sirius, about Sam and his friends. Like, I'm unable to see them currently. But when he's like, you know, we left Sam and I had to stop the car. I was like, okay, let me find somewhere to pull over and let him out to go get Sam. I'm not going to take that away from him. Because what the hell do I know that if that's real or not? And we know some people have been psychics, have been mediums since they were younger, and everybody told them it's not real. Don't believe that, and put them on medication, and fuck away from my child with that shit.
Right, there you go. There you go.
There's
I'm glad he got you.
There's a young man on I think it's Instagram called Matt. His mama allows him to just speak as he hears and downloads information and stuff like that. And I really am fascinated that she allows this. She allows him to speak freely as he hears from source and stuff like that. But for me, I also tell my daughter the same thing. Allow those children to speak, listen to what they're saying, write down what they say, make notes of what they're saying. And stuff like that. Because as we all know, they are closer to source than we are because they they're not so far taken away as yet. But the more we put them in the hands of other people to teach them, to train them, that's when they become shut down. When we tell them shut up and children should be heard, seen and not heard and all this different things, that shuts down that connection. Because now they become intimidated and fearful. So I'm happy for this sister here, this daughter here, who was allowing her daughter to see her visions and to speak to her and seeing them manifest and stuff like that. That is so I encourage it all the time when I'm talking to especially new moms who just have babies and stuff like that. I always tell them pay attention to what that child is doing, what they said, how they react and respond when somebody comes into their presence, how they look, how they hear, because they are telltale signs of what that child come here, information they come here with and already know.
Facts.
I say.
I say.
And so for us as adults, what we need to do is start tapping back into that childlike spirit, not in terms of being childish, but in terms of that innocency of giving ourselves way to hear in the realms of the spirit, to hear what deities or what they want to say, what source wants to say to us, and stuff like that. You know, we say sometimes, something tell me, say, oh, I felt this, because that's our higher self, and our source now is downloading information into us to do something. But because we've been so trained and programmed to do things as we think, you know, You go with our feelings because feelings aren't facts, but we go with our feelings, and because we are led by our feelings, we be taught to be led by our feelings. It causes us to miss a lot of stuff. So if we could get back into that, tap back into that childlike um, faith, we put it like that childlike belief system, we will be exposed to so much more than we've ever been exposed to before.
Hmm.
Oh, shit.
That's why I was so glad to hear what I heard Bobby Hemmings say, excuse me, yesterday about we not really adults until we turn 30. You know, so I just feel like even just looking at it like that alone, that's gonna make people feel like they got a lot more years to live. You know what I'm saying? But what I also want to ask y'all is, where do we find balance in between keeping that young energy, keeping that childlike heart, that playful, open-minded energy versus when you do get older, right? Because you do get to a certain age where it's like, all right, I'm too old for that. So what I'm trying to say is, you don't want to be, you know, older in age and still doing stuff that 16-year-olds are doing, right? So what do you find that balance from?
There's a difference between being childish and having a childlike faith. Childish is you will be 60, 70, still trying to act like you're 16 and doing those things. That's childish. But
Okay.
childlike faith is trusting what you're hearing. You are not leaning on fear, because fear is something that is taught. We weren't born with fear, we are taught fear. Look at children, children are fearless.
Right.
And tell you, oh, don't do that. Oh, you do that. Oh, I'm so sorry. That is so sorry. And then the child starts crying. But if when they saw that, you just look at them and say, and you look at them and don't say anything, they brush themselves up, they get up and they start running again. So childlike faith is that ability to believe what you're hearing from divine creation, the divine creator, or source, or your higher self, versus being childish and still want to be playing games, and still want to play hopscotch and stuff like that. Which is nothing wrong with those things, but you don't want to stay in the mind frame of being childish.
Right.
Good point.
Shout out Soul Gurman.
And you know what I think about childish and being childlike. Like when you're acting childish, it's a more of a relative term, because it depends on how we want to see it. Like if you're just being immature for your age, then that's something you know better, or you should know better, right? But if you're going out and you're playing football or basketball, or you're playing, like, sometimes I'll sit and I'll play pretend with my son, you know what I'm saying? And he's got all kinds of little dinosaurs and action figures, and I'll role play with him, you know what I'm saying? I get right down in there, because that's how he learns, like, and then he starts doing it himself, because he doesn't know about he didn't know about, like, tying a towel around his neck and running around like Superman. I taught him that, So once he learns that type of stuff, he stays in that realm, And something that I wanted to ask Dr. Sublime and Sirius about, and maybe y'all could give me some wisdom on this, but normally a child's breath starts to stink once they get their back teeth. His breath don't stink. Which is strange to me. Still has the baby breath. It's still very sweet smelling, and I'm like, bro, you just woke up. Like, I'll get that AM breath for a second, but you give it like 10, 15 minutes, and it's not there anymore. And we ain't even, I haven't even rose up off the bed yet to go and brush our teeth yet, and then he just gets right in my face. Want to watch the Never-Ending Story? And I'm smelling his breath. I'm like, hold on, let me smell your breath. He's like, ah. I'm like, bro, how I ask him all the time. He doesn't have an answer. How does your breath not stink yet, boy? You're 4 with back teeth and everything. You've had back teeth since.
But you're probably feeding him a lot cleaner than when you were 8,
I
right?
definitely
And I was
am
about to say
feeding
that,
him. Yeah,
yeah.
he's
Yeah,
never
yeah.
had, you know, baby food, McDonald's, or none of that crap.
Yeah,
That
you
is
feeding
true.
him. Yeah. That's probably what it is, bro. You're not giving them a lot of that crap that these people get as
Right.
kids, bro.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a shout out to you, bro, for what you're doing.
Okay.
You know,
And
shout out to you, bro.
and I want to comment. Yeah, and I want to comment. Role playing with him is not being childish. It is helping to expand his imagination and his instrument system. So that's not being childish in terms of doing it. And even like I said, even going to play football or tag ball or whatever, that's not being childish. I think it's more about maturity in your mentality and how you behave and respond and stuff like that. You understand? There's a difference in the childishness and helping your child to develop mentally with his imagination and his belief system and stuff like that. Also, something that I wanted you to touch or talk about earlier, which was Jason in terms of the Friday the 13th, and he was saying about his day and how his day was. Remember, everything we experience is either teaching us something. So you can look at your day and see what is it I learned, I need to learn, or I need to unlearn. You see, but everything that we experience throughout our day is teaching us something or a reflection of something. So it's never what you call it a bad day, because nothing is ever wasted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nothing is ever wasted. Everything we experience teaches us something, or it's for even if it ain't for ourselves, it may be able to hold on and tell somebody else later on. Well, this is what I encountered this day, and this is how I responded, or this is how I reacted. There's a difference between reacting and responding to something like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But we are here for each other. We are here for each other.
Wow.
Yep. And I definitely looked at it like that. I had to keep in mind that all that stuff was happening for a reason, but at the time it's just like, but honestly, I kind of feel like it was a test too, because like I say, all week was just like I just been vibing, so I'm like, I was looking at it like this was just a test to see if I could still keep my excuse me, if I could still keep my energy high, and I was able to. I mean, it was irritating for a few minutes doing all of that stuff that was going on back to back, but like I say, by the end of the day, I was laughing and playing and exercising and all that. So,
Balancing practicality and spirituality. Yes, ma'am.
That's our shade. Yeah. I'm over here about to pull another card. Some telling me to pull another card. The energy. Pulling another card right now. And that card is the 6 of Wands.
My goodness.
Oh, let me show y'all this card.
Wow. Let me find out.
And the 6 of Wands is about good luck, recognition, breakthroughs, a win-win situation, victory.
Wow.
Okay, let me if I get this camera to come. What's going on my camera? What's it say? Add extra camera. What the hell? Okay, wait a minute.
Yeah, you don't want that one.
No, I don't want that one.
Yeah, the start video button.
Okay, I'm hitting the wrong thing. Here we go. I was hitting the wrong thing.
Oh.
Y'all see that?
Yeah.
6 of Wands.
I like how like the light is coming from above, and like you're reaching up for that light, like reaching up for your higher self.
Yep. So I just wanted to show that real quick.
Nice,
You see anything else? You see anything else in that card spec that's catching your attention?
Man, I see the wand with that
The wreath around it.
Yeah. I was gonna say a circle or some sort of orb or something, but that looks like pure magic to me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I wanted to show that. You know what I'm saying? Anybody else? What you see there? What you see there, Dr. Sublime?
I just was gonna say that's that victory sound, and you know when you win, you get yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ashe.
That's that straight war cry, man.
Yeah, yes, that's what it is. That's what it is. It's also, this card is about, like it says, badass success, leadership, accomplishments, being seen, becoming an influencer, victory, optimism,
Wow.
inspiring others.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? That's what that card represents. Now, if you see that card on the flip side, you get it in the reverse, it's about not seeing eye to eye, pessimism, resentment, and self-doubt, a desire for acknowledgement, feelings of failure, falling from grace.
It's amazing to me how them cards, like, you pull a card every day and it coincides with like what is going on, especially with the people who are receiving the message when you read it, right? So like right now you're reading that to the tribe. And
The energy and the pride, the energy.
right,
That
like,
is right.
man, we are influencing, we are aspiring, man, listen. This is insane.
Hey, these cards ain't no joke. I would challenge anybody to start, getting into tarot, because it's really some life-changing stuff. It can show you things about yourself. It can teach you so many things about life in itself. Because what tarot really is just images, like I said, just images of the soul and its alchemical journey in and out of physicality. That's all it is. And so it can give you insight to what you're going through, some things you might be dealing with. It can give you a heads up on how to move in certain areas. Like the card we just now is letting us know that that's what we're doing. We're influencing people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're experiencing success
And
on so many different levels. All of us.
I really believe too, brother, you've gotta really be into it. You gotta really feel it. Because like how you said, like some people that, like your clients, they've gone to other tarot readers and it's not as accurate, but they come to you and it's because and this is my opinion, it's because they're not feeling it, or those people that are doing this like, this thing, it didn't work for me today. Well, maybe your belief is off. Go ahead, sister.
That they say, sometimes they say it doesn't resonate.
Right. Yeah, it don't resonate or whatever. It's like, you may not be resonating because the energy is real. You know, the energy of the sun, the moon, stars, the earth, that's real. Grass growing, trees growing, that energy is real. Okay, it's there.
And then I'm really tripping on the 4 of Wands and the 6 of Wands, how it was both same suits. Both cards came out in the same suit.
That's insane.
Yeah, we got the 4 of Wands and we got the 6 of Wands, right? And that's 10. If you put 6 and 4 together, that's 10. And that's also represents new beginnings. That's the 1 and the 0. That's the matrix. When you talk about the what they call the 1 and the 0, there's a certain thing they call
binary code.
Binary code. That's it. They represent the matrix. So yeah, man. Go ahead.
That's my birthday, the 10th of the 7th month.
And that's crazy. I start my birthday on the 10th and ended on the 16th.
Wow. Crazy.
And ironically, the 13th was one of the best days. Okay, the 13th is was my better days out of my whole birthday, man. I was like, man, I wasn't expecting it. It just came out of nowhere, but.
And then let me show y'all what's on the bottom of the deck. Let me show y'all what's on the bottom of the deck. Let me show y'all what's on. Now, why I keep pushing that one? Let me show y'all what's on the bottom of the deck. Y'all see that card right there? Wait a minute, let me put it in the camera right.
No, right there.
8 of Wands. You see that? That's on the bottom of the deck.
Wow.
The 8 of Wands, all Wands, 8, 4, 8, 6, and 4.
Yeah.
How
No,
would you call it? Captain Planet?
Yep, Captain Planet.
Yep. Captain Planet in the house.
In the house, man.
I just wanted to show that.
Captain Planet has been guiding this tribe from day one. And it has been a really eye-opening experience. Like, you know, for us to become Planeteers, like, we really had to tap in. And we've seen, you know, so many times. I've just been explaining to Sirius, sister, but you've been here, you know what I mean, Dr. Sublime, you've been here, like, and I've just been explaining to Sirius, like, Captain Planet is no joke. Captain Planet ain't playing around. Captain Planet, the captain is gonna make sure that the people that's right for the tribe is gonna find us, right? And we don't got to do nothing. That's a load off our shoulders, man.
Check this out, God. Check out what the 8 of Wands represents. Speed, velocity, travel, making split-second decisions, an upcoming positive resolution, haste, good news. Right?
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? That's what it represents. And then on the flip side, on the reverse side, it represents instability, delays, unfocused energy, and lack of direction, burnout, a tendency to hesitate.
Wow.
If it comes in, if it shows, but all these cards have showed, all 3 of these cards today came in the upright position.
Wow.
Right? So, and it's really just saying, this card is really, the essence of this card is saying it's go time. I fall into the flow of this quickening energy and I swiftly face my desires head on. That's what this card really pretty much all about. It's go time. It's go time. It's go time.
It's definitely go time.
And it's the 8. 8 represents infinity. It represents abundance.
New beginning.
Yeah, new beginnings. It represents a lot of that. So all 3 of these cards today, powerful cards.
Wow.
All 3 of them.
Apologies, family. My phone keep kicking me out, man. You know, this technology, it ain't built like us. I'm sitting out here in this sun. And you know what's crazy? I've been having it blocked. I've literally been having it covered in the shade. And I step out for 5 seconds just to walk a little bit. Start shutting down. I'm like, God, you can't even handle 2 minutes. A direct sunlight, and you breaking down.
yeah, that's.
I've been out here all day. So,
yeah, Roro say 222 on the clock.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, 222. The 222 represents stop worrying, everything is working out just as it's supposed to. Trust that you're on the right path. That's what the 222s represent. Alignment basically represents alignment.
You know, I had a question for y'all, tribe. I don't think I ever asked y'all, but because I naturally assumed, but you know, you shouldn't assume anything. I wanted to ask y'all: do y'all believe wands are real? Since we on the subject, we keep pulling up cards that are wands.
Oh, wands are very real, my brother.
Yep, I believe so.
Yeah.
You think Hollywood itself, they use a wand from this called the Hollywood tree. It's called the holly tree.
Yes.
And the holly tree has a certain kind of wood, and it's harder than other woods. It's hard to cut through. Right? It's a white wood. And so what they said for Hollywood, we're gonna use this wood from the holly tree, so we're gonna call it Hollywood. That's what they make wands out of. And that's what also those band instructors that stand in front of the bands and them big bands, and they use what they call them dudes, maestros or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, the orchestras.
Yeah, they use those same thing, wands, to lead the
right,
band.
right.
Yeah, wands is real. Yeah.
And you know what's crazy? You say that serious because we know that Hollywood sign that's sitting on that mountain. That wasn't really no mountain. There's roots under there. That's a tree stump. That's how big our trees were.
Yeah.
In the ancient times, like they cut that tree down and turned and made their little magic wands and started doing their tricks. But I believed in wands for a long time, but I was always told, magic isn't real. But then it started to really make sense when you read in the Bible. It's like that was a wand that Moses stuck in the ground and made the
Turn into a serpent.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, turned into a serpent. But I was saying when he split the Red Sea, he stuck his staff into the ground.
He took a stab. Yep.
When he made water come out of the rock, he smacked the rock with his stick.
Yeah, with his staff.
They said it was a stick, but I believe it was a wand. They just changed the words so that we wouldn't get wind of the magic that is really within us. Because all these prophets and all these guys that was coming before us, Abraham, Jesus, Muhammad, Moses, the list goes on and on. They all used what I refer to, I'm going to call it magic, just to be controversial to the Christians and the Jews and the Muslims, because y'all are out here telling people that magic ain't real, but yet they're supposed to believe in miracles. Well, let's go look up both words in the dictionary. You know what I'm saying? And see what the answer says. But nobody's doing the reading. Nobody's doing the research. Just read. Just look. You're gonna see it. It's gonna be like, oh my God, I've been duped. I got magical powers, and I haven't been able to use them because of the food I'm eating, what I'm listening to, what I'm watching, what I'm eating. You know what I mean? And on and on and on.
But like you said, when the wand, all Moses was doing, he wasn't really splitting the Red Sea. All he was doing was raising his Kundalini energy. They was telling you symbolically what he was doing.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? When he was splitting the Red Sea, because like I said, you got these blood vessels in your back. If you tear the skin off your back, you got these blood vessels in your back. When that Kundalini energy starts to rise, those vessels split, and that Kundalini energy rises up between those blood vessels. So that's all it's describing something that's happening inside the human constitution.
Right.
It's not describing some physical act or the physical seat literally opening. That's impossible.
Right.
So it's describing something going on inside of the human body.
And just like
A moon rah-rah.
just like the Santa Claus and and coming down the chimney and stuff, like that's the magic happening. That's why they made Santa magical. The pineal gland is gonna send that chemical down your spine. Man, I started learning now. It's like, whoa,
and remember, Jesus shed his blood. Remember, Jesus shed his blood, right?
Yeah.
And they got Osiris he had the Jed pillar, right, which represents the spine, which where the Kundalini raises. So it's the same thing. Jesus shed his blood. Osiris had the Jed pillar. You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Facts.
So what they did, they made these things literal. They historicalized things that weren't literally literal. They were symbolically or they were allegorically telling you higher mysteries. But they literalized them, these things, and historicalized them, which made it gross history. Like I said before, sublime myths becomes grotesque history.
So watch this too. The 3 days burial thing instead of Jesus. It is a ceremonial thing, it's a rite of passage ceremony that they do. That you take this what you call these things, psychedelic, and it puts you into a 3-day sleep mode. You see death, burial, and resurrection. And when you come out with more wisdom, and you come with your higher self, like how y'all do how many people say they do this, what y'all call this thing now?
The shrooms.
This mushroom, the shrooms and stuff. It's the same thing. It's the same thing when they talk about Moses with the burning bush. That burning bush was some people call it heroin, but it's the same thing. It was a shroom thing he had with his higher self. But they won't tell you that.
Yep.
That's why we gotta go and study and research for ourselves.
You
And
know,
they still do those things here. Those rites of passage and stuff like that. Those 3 days in the caves and stuff like that. Yeah, they still do that.
Sister, I wanted to commend you and give you your flowers for something too, because that's something amazing. Like how tapped in you are, and you've never touched the stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hey,
Like
I say.
you ain't even touched the great sweet Mary Jane. You know what I mean? And like you still tap this, so that's inspiring. Like,
Yeah, it
you
is.
know, if
It
those
is.
those of people who really believe that they can tap in without that stuff, they need to definitely walk down that path and seek that journey and see if they can,
Let
you know what I
me
mean, conjure up that,
thank you so
because
much.
that is
Thank you.
amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Thank you so much.
and like you
You
said, you
know,
know, it may be a day when you're, you know, sitting around, you may want to say, hey, I'm gonna go ahead
I'm ready.
and, you know, but you're still tapped in without that. So it's like that shows that we could use an aid, we can use a spaceship to go to another
Uh-huh.
planet, or we can astral project there. Right?
Yeah.
That's what that tells me. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And I may use a spaceship, which is marijuana. I may use Mary Jane as a spaceship, but I don't have to. And I've done so without it. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you
But
know,
you know,
and yeah, go
for
ahead,
a
sister.
long time, I've been searching for who I am. And so I had to research my birth and when I was born and stuff like that. And I was born on July the 10th. And the day I was born was a total lunar eclipse.
Mm.
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 Yeah.
So little man's
So
awake. I was wondering if you guys wouldn't mind if you want to ask him, you know, the questions I be asking him about how he's so great or whatever.
Of course not.
Put them
Bring him
on. Put
on.
'em
Bring him
on.
on. Bring on Oxman.
Say hi, Ox.
Hi,
Hey, what's up, Ox?
oh,
What's up, nephew?
Uncle Say.
That's Uncle Sirius and Uncle Jay and Auntie Sublime.
That's on the supply.
Yeah.
hi, my darling. You're
Hi.
so sweet.
Hi, Uncle Supply.
He been waiting to talk to you. So they want to ask you some questions, buddy.
Yeah.
You ready to answer some questions?
Yeah.
All right.
Hi, Auntie Supply.
Hi, darling. How are you?
Peace, young God.
Yes.
Yeah, Uncle Sirius right there. See the hand? It's Uncle
Yeah,
Sirius.
I'm here, Ox. How you doing, bro?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the
Good.
Ralph too, Uncle G.A.
Yeah, you right. You got that one right. Oh, you see the J, huh? Smart. We want to
Hey,
ask
Ox.
you a question, buddy. Oh,
Ox,
go
is
ahead,
the moon
Sirius.
real? Is the moon real?
Yeah.
It is.
Real.
It's real.
The moon. What's with the moon?
The moon is fake, Uncle Sirius.
Really?
What did he say? Spec?
He said
The
the
moon
moon
is
is
fake.
fake, Uncle Sirius.
Oh, okay.
And so we want to ask you, how did you become such a great little kid?
Being myself.
Oh, really? That's
Mhm.
awesome.
Really?
Right. Awesome. That's awesome.
So you just tapped right in the source, huh?
So,
I got a question for you too, nephew.
Oh, Uncle Jay, got
Who
a
is-
question.
who
You
is-
listening?
what is it?
Who is God to you?
He said, "Who is God?"
God. Peace, God.
What did he say?
Peace, gods.
Hey, that's an answer.
Yeah, that's the answer. Hey,
He
Ox,
said, I
got a
said, who
question.
is God to you? He said, peace, God. So all of us.
Yeah. There it
Hey,
is.
Ox, I got a question. This is Uncle Sirius. Who is Santa Claus?
Claus.
What is Santa Claus?
Santa Claus is.
Yeah. You got your toy and you're distracted. What does the pineal gland mean?
Santa and Christmas.
Awesome. So what's Santa Claus? Pineal gland.
Pineal gland.
There you go. Why don't you tell your uncles and auntie what's in your skull? What's in your brain? What's in your skull?
brain,
Yeah.
pineal gland,
Mm-hmm.
soul, and some causes.
Awesome. Did y'all hear him?
I heard the
Not
pineal
really.
gland.
Just speak up louder, buddy.
Louder!
Yeah, speak up louder. Say what's in your skull.
What's on your skull?
What's in here? Tell them what's in here, but say it loudly. He just woke up, y'all.
What are you doing?
No, what's in your skull, buddy? What's in here?
Brain,
Yeah.
soul,
Soul, yeah.
pineal gland,
Yeah, pineal gland.
subconscious.
And your subconscious. Awesome.
Good job, man.
All
Okay,
right.
I'll let you go play. I can hear the
All right. I
the
say.
frustration in your voice. We'll catch you when you wake up a little bit, okay?
Thanks for
buddy.
tapping me in.
Yeah, that's our future, man.
Whoever Roro is, we gotta get her daughter on here too. She said her daughter in one of the comments. She said her daughter is a visionary, so we might need to get her daughter on.
I know, huh?
Get some
Yeah,
future
man.
predictions.
Yeah, once we get them calls set up, man, that'll be awesome, man. Do them calls
Yeah,
once
exactly.
a month. 'Cause-
Call in, have a question and answer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what's up, guys. You doing a great job, man.
yeah. I'm just doing my best, man. I want him to have that essence for as long as possible. And I said that too when he was born. I said, man, I wonder if I can. How long can I get him to hang on to that innocence? You know, I've seen 16-year-olds still got their innocence, still got that childlike essence. You know, they know how to behave. They're not childish or immature in that way, but they still have. It's a beautiful thing, man. I didn't know it was possible till I met those individuals. You know, there's only a couple of them, but that's kind of what gave me the idea. Like, damn, you can actually hold on to that if it's being nourished and cultivated like a fruit growing on a vine. You know what I mean? That you gotta actually put in the effort. So that's where the idea honestly came from.
But we definitely got to start implementing more ways to keep that energy, because life will definitely lead you.
Yeah.
So, but it's already happening. Groups like us and others and the stuff that Brother Rich is doing, that all helps for sure.
Yeah. And he's gonna be at Stone Mountain too. Ox gonna be there, so
Oh, that's gonna be all nice. Nice.
yeah, he's gonna be
Oh, he gonna climb the mountain with us.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All
that,
right.
that kid is
All right.
full of energy, man. He don't
All right.
stop moving unless he's asleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
All right.
he does not stop moving. He's full of energy. He will climb that mountain like it's nothing. And you should see
Yeah.
some of the long walks he's taken with me. Right when he first started walking, I'd take him on nice long walks. So walking to him ain't nothing. We've gone from here to, into Auburn onto the. He don't care. He'll walk all the way there and back and won't complain. Oh, pick me up, or not. He only does that with his mom because he knows he can manipulate her. So she'll pick him up or she'll give him what he wants. So he only asks her stuff like that. He won't ask me to pick him up. He'll just be running, walking, talking, saying different stuff. Look, the moon. And we're walking, but the moon's out in the daytime. So he's like, why is it out here in the daytime? I'm like, buddy, it don't go away. You know what I mean? It's not supposed to go away. Just some days you can see it and some days you can't. Or some days you're unable, So, yeah, I think that's going to be a even more enlightening experience with him there on that mountain with us, man. Something told me to bring
Oh
him.
yeah. Oh
Something
yeah.
in my spirit was like, yo, bring him with
Yeah,
you.
he gonna love that. Oh yeah.
It's gonna change him too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah. He gonna love that.
And he loves beauty. He loves nature. He loves esoteric stuff. He don't watch much garbage. Like he don't like that stuff. I've attempted just to see what he would do, and he won't sit still, man. He will not sit still. You put it on Osmosis Jones, Soul, elementals, anything that's esoteric or got anything to do with real, like what we've been lied to about, the magic that's in us, he's watching that. And he's quiet watching it, and he's actually paying attention and learning it. And so, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Like, how many kids at 2 years old is going to be watching, Willy Wonka? It's not a cartoon. Most kids are only intrigued by the cartoon, and he don't care. If it's a movie that's talking about relative stuff, he's right on it. I've always loved that about him. It was always strange, and I still don't have any answers to this day. Like, I know he's tapped in the source, but I've never seen a child that actually wanted to watch that. And I'll ask him, what do you want to watch? My learning show. Or he'll say something esoteric, never ending story. He ain't going to mention nothing goofy. I know I ain't never showed him it, but he has stuff that's not like that he watches, but he don't watch it often. Very seldomly.
Show him the Dark Crystal. You got that, the Dark Crystal? By Jim Henson?
No, I did not. Never
get him that one, man. That's a good one for him to watch too, the Dark Crystal, because they dropping a lot of mad science in there.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Like, he's got like this Bigfoot movie. It don't have very much stuff. Like, he'll watch that every now and then. He'll be like, I'll watch the Bigfoot movie. And I'm looking at him watching this, and I'm watching him go through this, and I'm like, so he's taking breaks too from the learning and the esoteric stuff. He takes breaks and watches something that's entertaining, but it's still not like crazy damaging. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to watch something esoteric and then go to the club and drink. Like, that's crazy. That's craziness to me. But he don't do that. It's like, so he takes breaks, but even when I take breaks, I'm watching stuff that's entertaining, but it's still got some sort of merit. The Matrix, Terminator, you know what I mean? And he's doing the same thing. So I have to encourage that.
Yup, same here. It's funny you brought up Dark Crystal album. I seen that the other day on Amazon. I said I'm gonna rewatch it, because that's one of those movies I watched it a few times as a kid, but I don't remember nothing except that it was a bunch of ugly characters on there. You know what I'm saying? They look like monsters or whatever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind with rewatching it to, now with
that's high
my
science. That's high science they showing you in that movie. High science.
Okay.
Yep. Real high science. But they put it in a kids movie to throw you off. That's what they do. That's how they do it.
Definitely gravitated towards it as a kid, but I don't remember nothing but that. You know what I'm saying?
That's high science they dropping in the Dark Crystal, man. Bobby turned me on to that. Oh yeah.
Shout out Bobby Hemmett.
Yeah, shout out to brother Bobby.
Yeah, shout out to Bobby Hemmett. And the Bobbies of the world, to me, I believe Bobby, like, he held on to that childlike essence that I'm talking about. That tapped in the source. Like, some of these guys have actually held that, or whether they tapped in or held it for the entire time of their life, or tapped back in later. Those are the type of beings that we're going to be creating when we're teaching our children from day one this stuff. They're going to be tapping into energy sources and frequencies we never even considered. You know what I mean? Like,
facts.
I think that's a beautiful thing, man. Beautiful thing.
It is, my brother. It is.
Look how knowledgeable Bobby was, man. Like, nobody has said anything bad about him as far as what he didn't know, or oh man, he didn't know nothing. I ain't never heard anybody say that, and I don't think anybody in this community is bold enough to stake a claim. I'm sure there's somebody out there looking to prove him wrong, just like there's people out there looking to prove Dick Gregory wrong. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man, stop it. These guys knew what they were doing. They knew what they was talking about. They was tapped in. Like, I believe Prince was tapped in on a whole nother level. Whether he did it through his music or not, the things that brother was saying from day one.
Mm-hmm.
He never folded. He never folded. He never sold out. He never gave up. He did not conform to the rule of the industry. Like, soon as after his first act, he said, "No, oh, y'all think I'm a slave? Okay." Wrote slave on the side of his face before every show. Like, man, what are you doing? What are you? I'm not.
And then changed his name from Prince to a symbol.
Yeah.
Who does? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They said, I'm a symbol now.
Yeah, they want to
this
take away
to
his
another
rights.
level.
How you gonna own
Yeah.
somebody's name? Like, he came into the industry with that name, so that's the
Yeah.
type of contracts they create. You know, to screw you over, and it's like, yeah, no, you put them clauses in there, and these lawyers ain't shit, because why your lawyer didn't see it? You know,
Right.
and
Right.
Prince may not had a lawyer when he was doing, but some of these guys do be having lawyers, and they still be roped into some crazy contracts. Like, how did Little Wayne get duped by Baby when he created Cash Money? He just, that settlement, he won it, but he should have never had to go through that. His lawyer should have went, hold up, wait a minute, before you sign that. What is this? What the hell is this? You know what I mean? So they're just getting their money. They're giving you the gist of things, and then they're moving on. And we need some real people out here who's not detached from their spirituality, where they're gonna actually, like, if I was a lawyer for you guys or something like that, I'm gonna scour that thing, and I'm gonna have my assistant scour it, and then we're gonna scour it again, and y'all gonna be like, man, what's the holdup? We want to get this deal done. Hey, hold on, y'all. I just gotta look through these 500 pages of stuff. I mean, and I'm breaking everything down. They got words in here I never heard of. I gotta look that up. Then I gotta break that down. And if lawyers was doing that for real, a lot of these people wouldn't be duped the way Prince was duped. You know, or some of these other artists and even actors. Like, how does this happen? You know, like what happened with Monique? How does that happen? You know? These lawyers aren't on our side, and we should know this. They've been telling us this. You know, they've been saying lawyers are the crooks of the courtroom for a long time. We just not listening. People tell you who they are. We need to listen.
Facts.
Oh,
Yes, family.
hold up. You was showing a card, brother. Hold up. Was you showing a card? Serious?
No,
That time, family.
Yeah. It's about that time. Jay Hooks, you want to close us out, or Serious? Who wanna go first?
You want to go hook first, Jay Hooks?
Yeah, I'll go. So this is my final thoughts. Just do what you gotta do, family. Keep that child heart. You know what I'm saying? And like my family was saying, you know, it's a difference between being childish and you know, just keeping that child's energy, that connection to source. You know, stay open minded, stay loving, stay at peace. You know, do your grounding, get your sunlight, get your exercise, and you don't even gotta be nothing hardcore, like just some walking, just walk around the neighborhood, walk through the nature trail. You know what I'm saying? It's go stand by a tree. If you feel comfortable enough doing it, hug a tree. I know that's kind of, you know what I'm saying. You gotta be real tapped in or all the way confident to do that, because I'm not even all the way comfortable with hugging trees and around people, but I do it on my own time. You know what I'm saying? And, but it's all healing. It's all rewarding. And just stay rising.
Shay.
Say.
Yeah, my last words would be today was a great show. And first of all, I just want to thank the tribe for it, man. I got two great brothers, Jay Hooks, Speculum. I got two sisters, Dr. Sublime, Oracle Queen P. I'm thankful for that. I want to start out by saying that. Really appreciating, thankful for the tribe. The card I pulled today, the 4 of Wands, was about celebration, prosperity. The 6 of Wands was about success, leadership. And the 8 of Wands was about speed, velocity. So with those 3 together, I think the High Vibe Tribe is on the right path. I see great things in our future. And I just see us doing great things. And I just want everybody to know you got something greater inside of you than whatever you're going through. So look inside whatever you're going through, and you can get around it, through it, and over it. And that being said, I want to say Ashe.
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 Brother Sirius just broke down number 7 of the principles like a straight boss. Go ahead and find anything internal that helps, y'all. Find anything internal that helps you. You know what I mean? That's number 7. I just want to say my final thoughts as far as, you know, how the system takes us away from our spirituality, and it dims our light because they want worker bees, you know, or service ants, whatever, you know, whatever term you want to use. They want you to be a robot, you know, go to work, go to pharmacy, go to church, and go home. That's all they want from you. So we gotta start tapping back into that childlike essence, because that's where the answers are. You know, they got a lot of the answers. They may not have the answers to here on earth because they haven't lived here on earth in this frame and flesh and in this lifetime. However, they most of the time they was here before, and they just gotta remember how to walk. Now they gotta remember how to talk, and the same thing. Like, we just have experience down here, but they actually got the answers. We need to listen to our children, and that's how we're gonna.
That's right.
Get away from this system that's got us trapped and telling us that, you know, magic isn't real, and you know what I mean, like, and just, like the guy explained the colors. You know what I'm saying? And for those of y'all tapped in, as soon as we done with the closing thoughts, I'm gonna play the video for y'all again, just so you know what I mean. We can close out on that video as well.
Ashe.
Yeah.
Ashe.
For me, we have to really pay attention to our children. Let me say it like this. Even though they are our children in terms of size, because of them being born through our lineage, we have to also remember they are spirit beings here in physical bodies. So, yes, there can be 1 or 2 or newborn, but that spirit, that soul is an old soul that is returning here. And so we must learn how to learn, unlearn, and relearn the way we handle our children, and even the way we see ourselves going forward. So I would say my closing out is be open to learn, unlearn, and relearn.
That part.
Ashe.
We're gonna play this video real quick, and then we're gonna do our outros, y'all. We just give us a moment. We just want to catch. I saw a couple people tapped in a little just recently, so we just want to make sure y'all see. Y'all ain't gotta miss this.
What color was kindergarten? It was every color.
Yeah, I was gonna say rainbow.
Okay, now when you went to 1st to 2nd grade, what color was it? It was bland. It was that color. Then when you went to high school, what color was it?
Like jail.
Okay, then when you went to work, what color was the wall?
Yeah.
Now it's called waning you off the frequency. When you a kid, you vibrant, you running around. They say wane them off the frequency. Make everything tan, make it boring. They just get you right out your spirituality. The next time that you do get introduced to a colorful environment, guess where you at? You in a club. If the club was this color, nobody would go. But since it's black and it's universal light from red to purple, it feel like you in a universe. So this is why people like the club. It's called colorology. Even hunger. Hunger is triggered by the color red, yellow, and orange. What color is Wendy's? Chick-fil-A, McDonald's. Every highly successful fast food franchise, I guarantee you, if they not all red, orange, and yellow, they have either one of them colors at a high value. This is people who literally socially engineer the world. What color was kindergarten? It was every color.
Yeah, I was gonna say rainbow.
Okay, now when you went to first to second.
Look how young they're getting though, man. They're getting so young. Yeah. Well, I'll go first. I appreciate everybody stopping in, man. Again, I really appreciate my tribe, Dr. Sublime, Serious Alchemist, Queen Oracle P, Jay Hooks, the great, man. I'm absolutely loving this energy and the way we come here and make this thing happen, on a weekly basis is something, something like amazing, man. And I'm so appreciative of that. And I want y'all to please make sure y'all remember to live in your best light and chase your dreams, whatever that may be. And don't forget to look in the mirror for the change you want to see and love your journey.
I say,
I
this is Michael Jordan, aka the Serious Alchemist, with the final thoughts and words on today's show. Was just wonderful show. I appreciate Roro tapping in on the chat. That was nice. But my closing thoughts is we came here to be gods. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Let's be gods and goddesses, you know what I'm saying? Let's do it. Let's unify. Let's come together. Let's take our rightful place back on planet Earth. And, be the gods and goddesses we were meant to be. And with that, I say, Ashe.
say, brother.
Hey.
Yeah. This is Dr. Sublime. I'm always saying this. Be gentle with yourself because you are on a journey. And the journey is a process. And so you must always be willing to learn, unlearn, and relearn as you on this journey and in this process. Strive, I appreciate love you all so much. I am so happy for my place. I'm grateful for my place in this tribe. So look for us. We are on TikTok, we are on Fanbase, we are on YouTube. Where else we are at? Facebook.
Yeah.
So family, look for us. Subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell. So whenever we come live on Sundays, you are welcome to come and join the tribe. Much love, family.
Ashe.
Much love, I say. Just the God, say Hook great. Just want to shout out to my tribe as well. Shout out to the Oracle that come be with us today. Shout out to everybody that tapped in. Shout out to everybody in the chat. And everything my people just said. I don't got nothing else to say.
Oh, wow.
That being said, to the next time.
Right. Till next time, chat.
We
Peace,
celebrate
peace.
we celebrate
Peace,
the
peace.
new chapter of his life, yeah. So Stephanie celebrates you on your born day, your birthday. May this new chapter of your life be just as amazing as you are.
Yes, sister.
Ashe.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Ashe.
I'm about to go get me some sun right now.
Yes, sir. Me too. I'm about to do that myself. All right,
Y'all
y'all.
gotta
Peace,
catch
peace,
up. I've been out here all day.
peace. Peace, peace.
Peace.
Peace,
Love y'all,
peace.
family.